Hi, how's it going? I haven't slept since like yesterday evening. So if I look really tired, that's probably why, but though, you know, I always look tired. At this point, I'm used to staying up ridiculous hours, even though it's really not healthy for my body. I'm used to doing it. So that's why I haven't really like completely lost my shit today. That and the fact that I actually went out and did something that made me happy for a change, rather than like sitting around here and ruminating on what everybody's done to me. So when it comes to the Epstein files uploads, I'm gonna get some more rest first and wait until my mind is properly clarified and clear before I look at these files, because it's important to look at these files with greater clarity and like really go over it with a fine-tooth comb before I present my findings to you guys. The fact that the targeted individuals and, you know, all this giddy excitement about causing degenerative brain diseases and, you know, maladaptive gut health and fucking heart attacks and strokes, like just being giddy about that stuff, like looking at the files with people being giddy about that stuff is actually sickening. But there are things that need to be like really clarified and cleared up. The fact that, you know, targeted individuals were in the Epstein files in the first place is incredibly telling. For years I maintained that, you know, people were just in denial about gang stalking because they genuinely didn't believe it. Now I'm starting to understand that people have always known and believed targeted individuals, and I've said this before. It's just that they don't want to have to do anything. This is the thing about human beings. This is why people get away with shit. It's because we know something being done is wrong, and we are waiting for somebody else to fire the first shot, or to make the first move, or to strike the first blow, or to make the first lawsuit. We are always waiting for someone else to move us, waiting for somebody that we like, or waiting for somebody that we admire, or waiting for somebody that, you know, we want to get behind to say something. That's the main problem as to why targeting can, you know, persist today. That's the reason why targeted individuals are still targeted individuals rather than being freed of this hell. It's the reason why we're looking down the barrel of fascism, even though everybody knows what's going on and have the equipment and have the tools and have the education to strategize and do something about it. We all have the tools. We are waiting for somebody that we like, who moves us, you know, that can be an avatar for all the things that we're supposed to be doing to make this world better. We're waiting for that person to step up. That is why people are dying. That is why people are being murdered, even though we know everything in the Epstein files about targeting has been actual, factual, and a lot of targeted individuals that have been dying in vain to get this story out never got justice when they died. Because we are waiting to be moved by somebody that we like. You know, somebody said that, I can't remember who it was, I can't remember which Instagram person it was, but they said that God sends the worst messengers. That's the fucking problem. That's the fucking problem. We're waiting for the best and most likable messengers to come through, but we don't take any responsibility for that. We don't take any responsibility for that. We don't take any ownership for that. We just blame God or blame some other external figure as to why we didn't listen to that person, that maybe we didn't like them, but we knew they were telling the truth. We don't take responsibility for the fact that we were not listening. So it's a lack of accountability that is going to continue to get targeted individuals killed. Even when the Epstein files basically validate us at this point. And that's not all the Epstein files have revealed. Apparently, the Met Police have got their own files. They've got their own files that show they might have been in league with Mossad and the IDF. So there's another layer to this. Now, I've got to do more research before I start talking about these things. But yeah. Clothes are drying. I'm not gonna wait until that quietens down. Like, if that's annoying in the background, then you can just skip. But yeah, the Met Police, here in the UK, IDF connections, Israeli connections. And there's a call for some of these files from the Met Police to be public. But apparently the Met Police are withholding. So there's another layer to this. Like, again, with regards to the police, with regards to like these people in the community, what more is there left to debate? There's nothing left to debate. Now, gang stalking is going to continue doing the same things. Okay, fine. But when it comes to debating as to whether gang stalking is real or not, there's nothing to debate. At the end of the day, if you see these Epstein files and you're still maintaining that targeted individuals are crazy, this, that, and the third, and you refuse to listen to us because you don't like us, anything that happens as a consequence of that, that is your fault. That is on you. And you have nobody else to blame. Now, let's get to me and the fact that I haven't been sleeping, okay? So, this is the thing about me, right? Even though I know that there are brain frequency modulations to affect my emotions, affect my mood, and affect my anger, there's something that I want to say that is actually very important, and it has to do with neurodivergence. Now, as you know, I've talked about this endlessly on my channel, but I think out loud to myself a lot. And, it's usually emotions that I've repressed, or feelings or thoughts that I've repressed that usually come out when I do this. And at first, I thought it was simply a case of being emotionally repressed, I thought it was just me kind of getting my feelings out. Like, I thought that's what it was. I thought I was just getting my feelings out and using like avatars to do it. But this is what I've just figured out. And this is the thing. I'm 4 decades in when it comes to life. I'm only just realizing this. The chief reason why I was thinking out loud was not just conflict aversion. It was not just, expressing my feelings or expressing creativity. Because like all these things can be part and parcel. And then there's the maladaptive daydreaming thing. There are lots of different factors. It's a multitude of things. But the chief thing that I realized, and I thought it was due to lack of sleep as well, but that's not it either. That's not it. What it is overstimulation. So I'm having all these feelings of anger and frustration, but this is what I realize. When I start yelling, and I start getting what seems to be pissed off with people, that's not actually anger. My anger is a lot more severe than that. It's a lot more, it doesn't usually involve me shouting and screaming and things like that. Usually that's just like anxiety, right? Not even fear, anxiety. But my anger is actually quite scary because it doesn't manifest as any of that. It doesn't manifest as any of that. That's why when I don't say anything, gang stalkers get nervous. Because when I'm angry, I stop talking. DEFCON 1. If I stop talking and I stop saying something, it's DEFCON 1 and you need to watch it. But when I start like yelling out loud and stuff like that, usually it's due to anxiety, due to overstimulation. I have my washing machine in the background, loud as hell. I was watching my phone. I had my little speaker up here, loud as hell. And even though I enjoyed the noise, like from an aesthetic point of view, I was used to the washing machine and I was enjoying the noise coming from my speakers because I was hearing things that I wanted to hear. But the overload of noise It was so simple. It was the overload of noise as a neurodivergent person that was making me talk out loud. That was it. It was like the whole time throughout my 40 years of life, I thought it was, you know, maybe there's some chink in my brain or something like that. No, it was just overstimulation. It was just overstimulation and unused creativity. That's it. That is it. It's like being overstimulated, and because I wasn't active enough until this afternoon, it was just a lot of fucking energy with nowhere to put it. And it was as simple as that, and it's been as simple as that for 40 years. And this is what my neighbors have done, right? I can't say these neighbors here because these new neighbors are different. But what my neighbors have done in the past, and this is partially due to gang stalking, but it's also partially due to human nature. What neighbors and even my family have done is they've made it worse by being unkind. Now, I'm going to be really, really honest with you guys. My form of neurodivergence is not something that people are used to. It's not something that people are comfortable with. Talking to yourself, and especially like in a long form type of thought, that is not behavior that people are used to. It is not behavior that people are used to. And yes, gang stalking has exploited the fuck out of that, right? Because again, their whole thing is humiliation. They've exploited the fuck out of that. But to blame it entirely on gang stalking is noxious. Because quite frankly, gang stalking cannot work with what is not there, right? Gang stalking operates on a severe lack of imagination, a severe lack of intelligence, and childish tactics in draining a person's energy. It does not take imagination to be a gang stalker. It does not take intelligence to be a gang stalker. You just need to have a lot of money and a lot of cruelty. Okay? It does not take much to be a gang stalker. It really doesn't, right? So gang stalking can only work with what's already there. And if you as a human being are unkind about things you don't understand, then you're unkind about things you don't understand. And if you're doing that, whatever the situation is that's stressing you out, whether it be somebody talking to themselves or, you know, another mentally ill person, I don't know if I describe myself as mentally ill anymore. I think borderline. But even then, I don't know if that's mentally ill anymore. I think that might just be neurodivergence. But if you're dealing with a mentally ill person, or you're dealing with, you know, somebody that you like whose behavior that you don't understand, and you're being unkind, you're making it worse. Because this is what people tend to do. When somebody is neurodivergent and they have symptoms, you know, and other people are seeing symptoms that they don't understand, they feel bad for not understanding. And this is what people don't understand, right? When they see weird behavior and they see behavior that doesn't quite make sense, not only do people not understand what the fuck is going on, they feel bad for not understanding what the fuck is going on. They're not just scared, they feel bad for feeling scared, as if it's a wrong thing to feel, right? So internally, they've already punished themselves. They've already decided, I'm fucking stupid. That's what they've decided. That's what they've decided. Not me, by talking out loud. That's what they've decided by hearing me talk. I'm stupid. I'm scared. I'm weak. I don't know what's going on. So before they even open their mouth to say something to me, they've already given themselves a hard time. They've already given themselves a hard time for not knowing what the fuck's going on. And then when they do that, when they meet somebody that they don't understand, they're unkind. They're unkind. And when you're unkind, you make things worse. It's not people's fault that they don't understand. And this is what I've been saying from the beginning. This is what I've been saying for the last 4 to 5 years now. If you don't understand something, and if you don't understand, like for me, you don't understand why I'm talking, muttering to myself and I'm angry. And even then, it's not anger, it's anxiety. If you don't understand what's going on, that is not your fault. It's not your fault that you don't get it. You're not in my head. So how are you supposed to know what's going on with me? That is not your fault at all. But what is your fault is when you decide to be unkind and make it worse. Just like, I've got to be real here, it's not my fault I'm neurodivergent. It's not my fault that I get overstimulated. But it is my responsibility to make sure that I don't get to a place where I'm overstimulated. That's also my responsibility. Which means that after I leave here, not even after I leave here, right now, I have some lifestyle changes to make and I can take responsibility for that. But also, if I slip up and I get overwhelmed and my neurodivergent symptoms come out and people are unkind to me, I'm going to fucking have them. I'm not their parent. I'm not responsible for their unkindness to me. And I have the right to defend myself. And this goes doubly for any gang stalking tactics that try to exploit my neurodivergence so that they can make up some stories. No, I'm going to shut that fucking shit down. Because one thing you're not going to continue to do is you're not going to continue to weaponize my neurodivergence against me so that you can keep this Nazi pedophile cover-up going. We're not going to do that. We're not going to do that. So it's not my fault that I'm neurodivergent, but I understand that as an adult, I have to take responsibility for how I get overwhelmed and how I process my emotions. I do have to take responsibility for that. I can't keep doing this. I can't keep having all this energy and having nowhere to put it. And no, getting online and making content is not enough. It's not enough. Not nearly enough. I can't continue to come on here and have that be my only way of getting out all that energy. Because another thing that I understand as a neurodivergent person, if it's like, this is the thing. Emma Logan had the same thing before she left, right? She can't handle it when it's too quiet. I'm the same. You see, this is the thing. Lack of moderation, right, is the one, like when it comes to neurodivergent people, lack of moderation is what overwhelms us. Just like we can be overwhelmed by too much fucking noise, we can be overwhelmed when things are too silent for too long. That's me as well. And when you get overwhelmed, you need to release your energy physically, like go out walking, like go out places and meet people. But the reason why I didn't do that is because I know that gang stalkers, as soon as I leave, gang stalkers are going to be in my house. And I've been out before and people have contaminated my things, contaminated my food and drink. Do you understand what I mean? So like I've done that before and people have contaminated my things. That's why I haven't been out. But now I'm starting to understand, like really properly understand how much not going out, not traveling, not doing certain things are having an effect on my psyche. And I understand that at this point in my life, I have to take responsibility for that. But when it comes to people being unkind, I will chew that fucking ass up. I don't play. Because I'm not chewing people up because I don't understand what's going on. I'm chewing people up because I do. I'm chewing people up because I know it's just like it's my responsibility to handle my emotions. It's their responsibility to handle theirs. And it's their responsibility not to be unkind. It's not their responsibility. They don't have to manage my mental health. They're not my parents. Even my parents, well, my dad anyway, because my mum, rest her soul. Like, they're not responsible for my emotional output, right? I have to take responsibility for myself. Like, you know, the gang stalkers around me, even people that I like, even people that like me, they're not my fucking therapists. I have to take responsibility for what I do and what my emotions are doing. Just like my enemies, my friends, they have to take responsibility for what they do. So again, if people are unkind to me because of my neurodivergent symptoms and because, you know, I talk out loud or whatever, I'ma fucking have you. And I will show no mercy. I will show mercy to people that are afraid of me, because I don't want people to be afraid of me. Fear is a brittle form of power. I don't want it. And I especially don't want it when it's not necessary. I don't want people to be afraid of me. I don't want people to continue to fear me. Fear can make people very bitter and very resentful. I don't want that. But like, I don't show an ounce of mercy for people who are going to be unkind about things that they don't know about. I'm not tolerating it. People have committed suicide behind that type of behavior. People are committing suicide over that type of behavior. People are losing friends and loved ones because of that type of behavior. That's not going to slide with me. It's not going to happen over here. So if people are unkind to me in any way, I'm going to let them have it. I'm going to let them have it. I might not yell. But I'm very good at being petty. I'm going to let you have it with no mercy. I don't do that anti-bullying bullshit. You bare teeth, I will bare teeth, and I will sink it in you. I will sink my fangs in you. I don't play that shit. So that's what I've realized, and that's what I understand now. I went out today for the first time in weeks, and I just feel like when I came home, it's like everything was quiet. My brain was quiet. My soul was quiet. My spirit was quiet. Everything was quiet. I mean, it's not quiet now because I've got a thing about clean sheets. But, you know, it's like everything was quiet in my head when I got back. Because I've been out and I'd used my energy. Do you know what I mean? It's not going to be like an immediate thing. It's going to be, you know, day by day. I've got to take it day by day. And the hard part is the consistency. As a neurodivergent person, if you're like me and you're kind of starting over at like a late age, you kind of become a bit more set in your ways as you get older. So it becomes like a challenge to shift yourself out of habits that you're used to doing. But I'm going to do it. I'm not going to try. I'm going to fucking do it. It's just that I understand it's going to take time. But if I'm willing to put the time in, and I am, hey. Know what I mean? So yeah, that's what I learned from neurodivergence. If you're a neurodivergent person and you're a targeted individual, please understand that on top of the weaponized brain modulation frequencies, please make sure that you are not overstimulated. If you feel that anxiety start to rise up in your body, it may mean that you need to go out for a walk, right? Or you need to do something physical. That's what it might mean, right? It might mean that you need to go out for a walk, do something physical. Like my friend Pauline, for instance, she likes to cook. Another one of my friends, the older gentleman, he came here, he put the shelves up. He put the shelves up for Empress Justice Tarot, right? He likes to do things physically. That can really help. But also understand that you might be feeling anxious, either because it's too quiet or because it's too loud. So the best thing to do is to have just enough noise in the background. Not this is loud as hell, but have just enough noise in the background to where you know, you can hear yourself think, but not too much, right? It should be like a nice, pleasant balance between your mind and what's going on in the background. And it's the same with quiet. It should be like just a nice enough balance between your thoughts and what's going on in the background. Because if it's too quiet, then your thoughts are fucking loud. And if it's too loud, then your mind will try to find ways to drown out the noise. So it's like you have to kind of like, again, it's about moderation. Moderation, when you're a neurodivergent person, is so fucking key. It, like, you want to find the right balance between what's in your head and what's external. You want to have that nice balance so that you can still think, but like your thoughts are not fucking loud as hell, right? And that's what I've learned. Also, physical activity, not mental, not talking, physical activity. That's also going to be important. And just between you and me, do something that you really enjoy. You'd be surprised how much that quietens you internally. Now I gotta go. If that's really annoying, I'm sorry. I'm just so used to noise pollution when I do videos because of the gang stalking that sometimes I don't even notice how fucking loud that is. But I hope you guys could hear me anyway. But yeah, that's all I have for you today. I didn't use my microphone today because I'm charging my phone, and plus I want to get new microphones anyway. And also I'm moving again. My landlords have applied for a court order, so I just got to wait for that to come through while I'm getting everything arranged. So yeah, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna enjoy this good capella right here, and hopefully I should get some proper sleep tonight. Doubtful, but hopefully I should. Okay, now I love you guys very much. Peace and blessings. I'm not Marsha the Great today. Fabienne D. Canal. Bye bye, my darlings.